That's the Braes of Balquhidder that you can see in behind you there, folks. I've paddled Loch Voil this morning. I'm at the end of the loch now, and I'm checking out the wee river that connects Loch Voil to the wee Loch Goil just up ahead. And I think there's enough water in it for me to paddle through into the other loch. I'm just beginning to feel the toe on the water, so I will have to switch to double blade if I want to make life easy for myself. Okay, you'll see me better now that the sun's not in your eyes. Let's have a go and see if we can get through here. I'm trying to stay with the current, folks. There's less likelihood that I'll get tipped out the boat by a submerged root or tree or sandbank. The water's high after the recent rains. It's making this quite easy going. If I stop blethering, you might hear the stag roaring in a wee while. It's been roaring on and off this morning. Yeah, there we are, folks. We've made it through. I stick with a double blade for a wee while and power up this wee loch and look for a place to pull out and have a bit of lunch. I've not been filming very much this morning, folks. It's a long paddle up here. I had the camera on enough to give you a flavour of the countryside and the Braes of Balquhidder. I see a wee gravel or shingle beach about 400 metres ahead. I think I'm going to pull over there, dig into the bag and see what we've got for lunch. This little open spot here will do us fine for a spot of lunch. You're probably thinking I'm out camping here, folks, lugging all this gear around with me, but in fact I'm just out for the day. However, I do have a canoe camping trip coming up at the beginning of November, and I plan to take you along with me. It should be a bit of fun. Be out for a few days. But for today, I've got a little bit extra gear because I'm going to do a wee cook-up. I'm going to do a shore lunch. So let's dig into this bag and see what we've got. Got my Bush Buddy stove with me, and I've got some kindling. I don't have any twigs. I don't know that I've actually got anything small enough to go in this stove, but we'll see how we get on. See if we can get a wee fire in the stove. Get a bit of food on the go. There we go, folks. Venison burger for lunch. Cheers, folks. Venison burger, some cheese and pickle, and a ginger beer. Well, that was grand, folks. Venison burger with a slice of cheese and some pickle on the top. I've got a cup of coffee on the go here now, and my favourite, I'm looking about for them, I've got an oatmeal raisin biscuit. If you've watched some of the other videos, you'll hear me talking about orbs, ORBs. Not sure whether to share this story with you or not. So I pulled in here and I've camped here, and I've used this as a sort of lunch stop on several occasions. Actually, I've made a video here before. I don't know if you remember. I came along on my bicycle through the trees and then had my pack raft, inflated the pack raft, and then paddled back through this loch and then through Loch Voil and all the way down to the car down at Balquhidder there. Well, when I pulled in and I got the bush buddy on the go, it was a wee bit smoky to start with. The local farmer or shepherd came down and he wasn't very happy. I think he's had some bad experiences with wild campers over the summer. Anyway, I had a blether with him and he was absolutely fine. We had a nice chat, in fact. Anyway, you saw me cooking up 2 burgers there. Well, there's no way that I could eat both of them. So what I did, I split one of them in 2 and I made up a couple of cheese rolls with pickle and half a burger in each. And I climbed up the hill there and I gave them to the shepherd and his mate that are working away on a fence. You maybe hear the banging in the background. There's a fence down that should be protecting these trees to keep the sheep out of the trees. So I dived into the trees bearing gifts. I was very careful when I was cooking, folks. No COVID protocols were broken as far as I'm aware. Are there any still in existence? I'm not very sure. Anyhow, that's my wee tale. Wee story for today. So I'm going to have this cup of coffee, have my oatmeal raisin biscuit, and then I'll get off. I seem to have a bit of a gear bomb here. I seem to have exploded my gear all over the shoreline. I'll gather it all up, make sure that I don't leave any trace, and we'll get back on the water. So let me have this coffee, folks. Get back to you in a wee while. pretty much packed up, folks, are good to go. I'm just lingering over a second cup of coffee. It's a glorious afternoon. I'm going to take my time paddling down, turn the camera on here and there. I was just checking the battery situation on I'm filming GoPro today, and the one that I'm filming just now, the battery is getting quite low. I'll check this one, but I think I should be able to keep the camera on for a wee while as we paddle our way down the loch. You share this glorious view with me. I'm going to need to lose another layer. It's quite warm now. What a difference a day makes. It was hammering rain yesterday all day, and forecast for more of the same tomorrow. Rain, that is, not this. This is just a wee weather window. I'm glad I was able to make use of it. I don't know if the camera's picking it up or not. Through the pass in the hills there's a wee wedge-shaped hill in the far distance with a wisp of cloud hanging around the summit. That's one of the Cranlarrick hills, that's Doine. Heading back to the river, folks. The connection between the two lochs. When you're sitting low on the water, it can be surprisingly difficult to find the outflow. But the trick that I've learnt over the years is to try and let your eye follow the line of the land, where the land comes down and then up on the other side, and in that lowest spot on the horizon, generally you'll find the outflow. I've got you a wee bit of an angle there, folks, because I'm leaning the boat over a wee bit just to glide. Just beginning to feel the pull of the river. Although I still can't see it. I think it's just round this little bend ahead. I think if I go over a little bit, I'll get into the current. I've been listening to the roar of the stags today. I don't know that I've actually managed to pick it up on camera. I'm getting pulled along very slowly here, but it tells me that this moving water is going to lead straight into the river. I'm in the river, folks. I'm just trying to steer towards the deeper water. I'm on a sandbank here. A wee whirlpool. Just about to go over it. I'm going to spin round. There we go. It's easy enough getting through here today, folks. There's a lot of water in the system. On occasion I've had to portage this because there's not been enough water. And let me tell you, it's quite a muddy portage. Let me see if I can straighten this camera up a little bit. There we are, folks, we're back into the big water again. I've been chatting away to you there, folks, but you haven't been able to see me. I had the camera pointing in the direction of travel. Got the sun shining directly into the lens. I've started a long, slow traverse across the loch. I'm still heading down the loch, but I'm going across to enjoy the sunshine on the north bank. South-facing slopes of the Braes of Balquhidder. I'm no great lover of the bracken, folks. Tends to be tick city in there. But it looks bonny at this time of the year when it's colouring up, these russet browns, and for sure the colour of a Scottish autumn. Conscious you can't see what I'm talking about. I'll turn the camera around in a minute. Let me get a little bit closer for you. If the paddlers amongst you are wondering about my slightly odd J-stroking technique, there's a reason for it. I've actually broken this wrist twice, and it's not as flexible as it should be anymore. So I've sort of modified my paddling stroke to compensate so that it doesn't hurt too much at the end of a long day. Although this is not a long day, but it's a particularly easy paddle. If you're wondering how I broke my wrist twice, the first time was a rookie accident tractor driving. I had my thumbs inside the wheel and no power steering. It was on an old Massey Ferguson 135 tractor, and I caught a rock. It spun the steering wheel round and it managed to fracture a bone in my wrist. And the second time was during a bit of rock climbing, where I managed to fracture it again where it had previously been weakened. I remember the old tractor driver when I was an apprentice telling me, "Dave, these bumps and bruises and injuries, they come back to haunt you when you get older." Not sure that I fully understood that in my youth, but there's some truth in it, folks. It seems these stags are intent on avoiding being recorded. Every time I turn the camera off, they start roaring. When I turn it on, they go silent. There's one on the hillside up to the left somewhere, and then there's another one away back up the glen, and they're roaring to each other. I haven't spotted either of them. They'll be quite high up the hill, I guess. Isn't that bonny, folks? So we have broadleaf woodland on these south-facing slopes on the north side of the loch, and let me spin you round. Conifers on the other side. So that's looking up the glen. You're going to be in the sun a wee bit there, but conifer forest on the north facing slopes. And that's the direction of travel. And that's heading east. You see that big larch tree there, folks? Now that marks roughly halfway down the loch. I had a fairly stiff headwind for a wee while there. Actually broke out the double blade for a wee bit. It seems pretty calm here again. I've been hugging this shore a little bit to stay out of the wind. So there's the larch tree, and then you can see the loch opening up beyond this little point here, wee headland. I can feel the breeze. Probably getting picked up by the camera as well. I don't have a muffler on the camera. What do you think, folks? Shall we scoot across to the other side and forgo the sunshine? or we'll keep the double blade on the go and just go straight down the middle. Not too bad, barely a ripple. Can you hear the stags? They're high on the hill, I can't see them. Sticking with a double blade for a wee while, folks. It makes short work of this when you've got the double blade. You cover the water pretty fast. So the GoPros are both pretty low in power. In fact, this one that I'm talking to now is down to about 5%. So I think I'm just going to wind the video up here for you folks. Hope you enjoyed this one. Good to get back out and about again. It's been a while. I've been busy in the garden. I've done a lot of work in the garden actually. A little bit more development in the wee garden behind the house, but I've got a little plot in front of the house which I've recently developed as well. So that's looking quite nice, a different theme. I've gone for evergreens at the front, and I'm going to provide a little bit of spring colour through the use of some bulbs. And I built myself a propagation case so that I don't have to buy quite so many plants for all this gardening work. Now, actually, I've harvested the first crop out of it. So that's what I've been up to. I've been out and about a couple of times as well. Mo and I had a big adventure, but I didn't take the cameras with us. Watching a hoverfly just in front of the boat, guiding me down the loch. Yeah, Mo and I had a good adventure, but like I say, I didn't take the cameras with us, folks. But we are planning on getting away in the van quite soon, and like I mentioned earlier, I have a canoe camping trip at the beginning of next month, so there's a few movies to look out for coming to a screen near you. Anyhow, I'm chuntering on, folks. I'm also drifting, so I'll wind the video up by saying thanks as always for tuning in. It's very much appreciated, and I look forward to getting back to you on the next one. So stay safe, folks. Oh, sorry, shaking you all there. Stay safe, folks, and bye for now.